I, 74 male, have a son who's 47 male who got arrested for a DUI over 15 years ago, and he's unable to find a regular job. He has ADHD, is married, and has 2 daughters. I hired him in my small business, which is in an office setting, many years ago, to give him a job for his family. I've trained him, given him ample opportunity to be successful, and allowed him to hire multiple members of his wife's family and friends. I'm still keeping the business afloat for him financially, and his wife works a well-paying full-time job. They bought almost $1 million house this year and spent money rapidly, like putting their kids in multiple travel sports, which cost several $1,000s a year. I'm not one to tell them how to spend their money, but I'm providing context for this story. My son and I had an agreement that I would receive a percentage on any new clients we find, which I have found myself. I've had my business for over 50 years. I enjoy working, but being 74, I get tired and stress easily, but it keeps my mind occupied. My wife and I recently purchased a small home, and my son came over to help me move a fridge. He started yelling and swearing at me this past week and told me I was spending too much from the business with my wife and our new home. I hired some contractors to paint and put in new floors. He told me he was only giving me $9,000 of a $36,000 payment I'm owed. Edit: I'm using my own money on my house repairs. He stated that I'm spending too much of my own money on house repairs. He was criticizing how my wife and I spend our money in general. He took 4 trips last year. My wife and I haven't been away at all. I told him to get out, and he had a big outburst, swearing, carrying on, and stressing me out. He doesn't even do his job, and I always do the brunt of the work. I've decided to take my business back and all my clients and work independently. He can figure the rest out himself. I'm tired of his lack of commitment. He and his wife have also alienated my other children and family due to their awful drama and bullying tactics. They didn't attend a family event over the weekend. Honestly, it was the most fun I've had in a long time. My younger son and daughter both refused to be around this son and his wife due to how awful they've treated them. My daughter hasn't attended a holiday in 2 years because of this son and his wife, and she finally came this past weekend, and we had a great time. Am I the idiot to cut my son out of my business? Not the idiot. He has no right to tell you how to spend your money or withhold any money from you. Cut him out of the business. He can find a new job. Presumably, he has the experience to put on a resume from all the years you employed him. A single DUI does not make someone unemployable. That's an excuse. And ADHD is also not an excuse to not work. It's a reason you have to work harder. Nobody said life was fair. Time to suck it up. ADHD is challenging, but that's life. It doesn't stop me from being a lawyer, and it shouldn't stop your son from working either. He needs to grow up. Enabling him is not helping him. Speak to a lawyer to make sure all of this is done properly. Also consider updating your wills. If you want to retire fully, then start looking at selling your business and don't sell to family. This son is clearly the golden child. Gets trained and takes over the family business, while the other two, You are the idiot for letting it get to this point. You've seen that your son couldn't take over the business. You've seen him use you as a personal ATM without even doing the work, and you still plan to give him the business? Why? You have a lot of groveling to do. You should apologize to your other children for favoring him for so long. You've already given your entitled son his part of the inheritance. He bought a house worth $1 million for heck's sake. It's time for him to stand on his own 2 feet now. Honestly, it looks like OP doesn't give a darn when his son wasn't angry, didn't care when his son and daughter-in-law were alienating his other children. It's only now, when the son is affecting OP, that he's willing to do something about it. Both OP and the son's family sound insufferable. I'm 27, as she is. We dated for a short time, about 5 to 6 years ago. We broke up because I was young, had commitment issues, and felt that she also needed to mature. Even though we broke up, we were always still pretty close. I decided to join the Navy, which is also part of the reason we broke up, and I remember her being upset about it. We continued to exchange letters and text every once in a while. I'd sometimes hang out with her when I was home for a week or two. Now I'm out of the Navy and have recently bought a house in my hometown. Things are going well, and I'm really ready to settle down. It's been a while since I've heard from my ex, and I decided to catch up with her. We texted for a day and caught up, and she said that she wanted to meet up and talk. I picked her up and we drove around. She looked beautiful, even more so than when I last saw her. I swear, every time I see her, she looks better and better. As we were catching up, there were a lot of red flags, however. For one, she still lives at home with her mom. She babysits and is a nanny. She's done this since she was 22 or so. She drives one of her mom's cars and doesn't actually have a car. Asked if she was doing anything else, and she said, nope. We talked about renting and stuff like that, and she laughed and said that maybe she had $200 to her name. We talked about other work, and she said that she gets overwhelmed easily and that being a nanny is the only thing she can do. When asked about future plans, she said, I only want to be a mom. This was the same 5 years ago, but I wasn't as concerned as I was young, and I figured we both needed to do a lot of growing up. But now here we are. I told her that I wasn't sure what I was feeling, and when she asked what I meant, I said she was gorgeous, but at this point in life, you got to bring more to the table than just that. She laughed and said that she thought I wanted to have intimacy, and that was the only reason for the meeting. I don't think it's entirely true because she looked hurt when I wasn't feeling it. As we pulled back into her driveway, she said, please don't ghost me. And I said, okay, we'll try and work this out. The next 2 days, I reached out to her via text, and she never responded. She ghosted me, LOL. Not sure why. There is no info about what kind of person she is. Kind, funny, patient, plays guitar, enjoys running, loves animals, always remembers someone's birthday, and tries to make their day special. These are just some examples. Well-rounded people are more than just their bank account or professional ambitions. Try to look deeper if you're looking for a serious relationship. Yep, exactly. OP only sees her as a hot, poor girl, not an actual person. It's always the dusties that ask you what you bring to the table. He thinks he's the best catch out there because he has a house. She should ask him what he brings to the table. You are the idiot. She's allowed to live her life the way she wants. She's your ex, not some object waiting around for you. Just move on. OP is clearly not over her, and this was an attempt to bring her down so he can be seen as this magnanimous partner who would sacrifice items on his table for her. Gross and completely transparent. Ex-girlfriend got the confirmation she needed that he's still an idiot. That's why she ghosted him. I, 28 male, was dating Kelly, 27 female, for 3 years and planning to propose with an engagement ring and a luxury vacation. However, her best friend, Nat, 27 female, was always a problem. From the start, Nat disliked me and tried to break us up by falsely accusing me of cheating and convincing Kelly I was controlling. This caused many arguments, but Kelly always defended Nat. In January, I reached my limit. We were celebrating my birthday, and Kelly invited Nat despite my objections. Nat dominated the conversation, talking about her financial issues. I asked Kelly to intervene, but when she tried, Nat accused her of not caring and then attacked me, calling me controlling. I lost my temper, calling her a manipulative witch. The day was ruined, and back home I gave Kelly an ultimatum, either me or Nat. Kelly argued it was unfair to make her choose. We fought, and when Kelly said I provoked Nat by insulting her, I told her to leave. After threatening to call the cops, she finally left. I packed Kelly's belongings, including everything I had bought for her since she had lived off my money for 2 years. I texted her to pick her things up, and when she arrived, I handed them over without speaking. Later, Nat texted, calling me a jerk for keeping the gifts. Kelly also texted, calling me stingy. Angry, I sent her the photos of the expensive engagement ring and vacation tickets I had bought to show what she missed out on because of Nat. Then I blocked her. In September, Kelly showed up at my place looking awful and begged me to take her back. She admitted she had made a huge mistake. After we broke up, she got her own apartment, but realized how manipulative Nat was. Nat kept guilt-tripping her into giving her money and eventually moved in with Kelly after getting evicted. Things got worse. Nat started using sugar, invited shady people over, and Kelly noticed cash and valuables, including her grandmother's necklace, were stolen. When she confronted Nat, Nat physically assaulted her, and 2 days later, Kelly was evicted because of Nat's behavior. Now homeless, jobless, and broke, Kelly apologized, saying she'd do anything to get back together. I felt a sense of satisfaction and told her it was karma for choosing Nat over me. I asked her to leave, threatening to call the police if she didn't. Kelly told mutual friends, and they think I was too harsh, given her situation. They suggest I apologize, or even consider taking her back. Now I'm conflicted. Should I apologize to keep the peace with my friends? Or am I justified in not taking her back or apologizing? Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She picked her toxic friends over you, and now she's facing the fallout. You don't owe her anything, honestly. It's not hard to feel a little satisfied after all that. No need to apologize or take her back. Just move on and be done with it. By the way, mutual friends are welcome to take Kelly into their homes. Wonder how that would end up. When she let Nat attack and assault you at your own birthday party and did absolutely nothing to stop her, that lets you know right then and there that she didn't love you. She may have loved your support or the things you gave her, but no one who loves you would have allowed that to happen, much less made excuses for it and blamed you, the victim. That was her mask slipping. Her life falling apart isn't your problem, it's her karma. Take a witness, record the conversation, and let her know you will block her and file a restraining order against her and Nat if she contacts you again. Update. I met Kelly for a few hours. I realized I was in the wrong for holding my financial problems as a point of contention. I told Kelly that I was sorry for how I responded to hearing her struggles. I also said that I had struggled to come to terms with the fact that she had chosen Nat over me. I said it was impossible for us to get back together, but that I would help her for old time's sake. I've decided to help her with the rent for a small place for 6 months. I told her not to get her hopes up about getting back together. I also told her that if she got involved with Nat again, I would have no choice but to withdraw my support. She got emotional, apologized for everything that happened, and promised to stay away from Nat. She expressed her gratitude and said she would respect my wishes this time. We parted on a good note, and she thanked me for caring for her after everything she had done. A few mutual friends learned about our talk a few minutes after we parted. Some called and chastised me for not taking her back. I was done with them at that point. I've cut 3 of them out who said I was an entitled jerk for not taking her back. I'm hoping that Nat stays out of the way this time. Every year, I try to take a family vacation. Around Easter, I asked everyone for their availability. The best day for almost everyone was a winter vacation. My daughter-in-law and son told me that day wouldn't work for her, so they can't go. I asked if the backup days would work, and it was a no. Usually, the vacation is somewhere that everyone can drive to. It would be the same until all the adults agreed that the kids were old enough to leave the country. So now the trip is to Europe. Everyone has bought their tickets, and I've booked where we're staying. Everything's getting finalized. My son and daughter-in-law were not in the family vacation chat, since they weren't going on the vacation. They heard about the plans and wanted to be added in. She called me up, asking about it and what they needed to do. I asked her how she could get off work, and she explained that she could. I think she didn't want to go on the trip until she learned it was to Europe, and lied that she couldn't come in the first place. I told her it was too late, things were booked, and I wasn't willing to pay more than I already had. I paid for all the lodging, and we would need to upgrade to fit 2 more adults. She asked if I was serious, and said it was cruel to not include them on a family trip around Christmas. I told her it was what it was, and that it wasn't my fault. My son is angry. He told me that I could afford to add 2 more adults, which is true. I reiterated what I told his wife. He called me an idiot. Not the idiot. First of all, you planned everything already, and if your daughter-in-law really changed everything just because the trip was to somewhere she wanted to go, doesn't sound good. Second, why can't they pay the extra if they want to come? Aren't they adults already? I am curious as to why the destination for the trip wasn't also decided when the dates were, though. I wouldn't really want to commit to an unknown vacation until I had a few details either. Also, if they said when the date was picked that they were coming, Would the logic not have still been with the two more extra people? Why were you okay with the extra costs then, but not now? Is it just spite? LOL, I'm really conflicted. I'm like totally on the side of she didn't want to go until it was somewhere cool, 100%. But I can't wrap my head around the idea of totally icing them out of this massive change in the plans from somewhere drivable to Europe without even mentioning it. Starting a group chat without them in it feels spiteful, perhaps deservedly so, as I doubt that we know the whole dynamic. If someone says they're not free or can't get time off work, it would not occur to me that they might suddenly magically be able to get the time off if the destination was different. Son and daughter-in-law brought this upon themselves with their lying. They found out and out. My parents are divorced, and my sister, tween female, and I, teen male, split time between my mom's house and my dad's house. Our older brother, nearly adult male, lives with dad now. My mom is married and has stepkids and younger bio kids with her husband. They struggle financially, and because of money issues, they don't have a lot of food at home. They get help from food pantries, but they still don't have a lot of food or food choices, and some of it's older and not fresh or tasty. This isn't enough to change custody. I'd like to live with dad, and so would my sister. My brother felt the same. The judge doesn't take what we want into account when we're under 18, and I know that from my brother. And the money issues and food issues didn't make a difference either. We were in court last month, and the judge said shared custody continues. Dad gave us the keys to his house, and he said we could always go to his house after school and eat, if we wanted to. So I took my sister, and we ate there. My step and half siblings go to my mom's house, and they normally wait until their dad or my mom gets home for dinner, since there isn't always enough food after school. We all qualify for free school lunches, except for the younger kids who go to daycare. My mom's husband found out what we were doing the other week because he saw my sister and me leave my dad's house and walk back to his and mom's house. He got out of work early and he told mom, and she confronted me about what we were doing at dad's, and she asked me if we got food there. I didn't say yes, but she figured it out. And then she told me it was disgusting to only take my sister or to bring nothing back for the other kids. She told me I should be ashamed. She yelled at dad too. She told me I was wrong to do something like that in such a selfish way. And she even asked me how I could do that every other week, knowing I have siblings at her house that don't eat after school until dinner. Her husband was super angry too, because he knew dad could afford for us to take stuff for the other kids, but we didn't. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. It isn't your dad's responsibility to feed anybody else's kids. The judge won't do anything because he's limited to operating within the confines of the law as it's written. Someone has to file a complaint against the mom for negligence for it to be logged with the court. Call CPS or go to your school's social worker to explain that you and your sister are not provided adequate food at your mom's house. Food restriction is something that CPS takes very, very seriously. She told you that you should be ashamed? She's the one who should be ashamed of not being able to provide for her kids. She should be ashamed of not letting you live with the parent who's capable of taking care of you. For what reason? What kind of parent puts their pride above their children's comfort? And your stepfather, who had more kids, can pay for wanting your dad to feed the kids who are not his. Doesn't he feel ashamed? I'm so sorry you're dealing with this nonsense. You've done absolutely nothing wrong. Continue to go to your dad's after school.